queridas, this is Zena Ruiz. Welcome to my humble kitchen. I am an artist based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, technically North Braddock, PA, but you know, gotta represent the whole greater city and area. So today I am here representing the #NotWhite Collective. Shout out to my girls. They have been my rock, my foundation, my heart, like feeding every part of me. And so super just thankful, just so much gratitude for them, for holding me through the last few months. So we have been excited for this series. I'm the first one to kick off this cooking series in collaboration with the Frick Museum in Pittsburgh. Thank you for inviting us to celebrate and like sit with and be inspired by Frida's image. So the Frick has this exhibit up called Frida Kahlo, an intimate portrait. And I believe there's like in conjunction with a second very special full color room of portraits of Frida by the photographer Nicholas Murray. So I got a chance to check it out yesterday. It's so, I love the context, the stories, the framing of the photographs, really walk through Frida working with her dad, and how she helped him through as an assistant, but also a caretaker, as her dad, was epileptic and just like needing that care and support in those times. But just really seeing how she was trained to always be on view. Like homegirl was ahead of her time, for real. Cause like now we got all of our selfies going on. She been doing selfies for a shit as long time. Pardon my language, I won't do that again. So you're in my kitchen. This is gonna be an improvisational, just how do you cook in your kitchen, Zena? And sticking true spirit of what I have inherited from my family, mostly my grandmother. There are no recipes. They're like essences of, but it's really a pinch of this, a dash of that. What do you smell? Like, does it smell right? You gotta taste it. You're constantly, is it an excuse to always be eating while you're cooking? Maybe. But I'm gonna start with the staples of my kitchen. So here we have fresh ground pepper, very key. Let's do salt. Salt goes with pepper. Got some salt here. We have coriander. I use this a lot. And some chili flakes, some red pepper flakes. Let's be technical here. And some cayenne pepper. Now this guy, I am from Houston, Texas. There is a lot of Cajun influence in our cuisine. Though yes, my family is Mexican, and we go down on some, like, what do we eat at home? A lot of black beans, queso fresco, corn tortillas, arroz. We'll do enchiladas if it's super special, chile poblanos, but you gotta have a gas stove to really do a chile poblano right, because you gotta get that smoky, fresh flame flavor. You don't get it on a glass top like I have here. So anyway, back to this. This is Tony Chachere's. This is the one vessel that holds all of the seasonings. I believe it's comparative to like Slap Your Mama, that whole like seasoning thing, or like an abodo or something like. So this one's my jam. So I wanted to introduce you to my herbal friends and minerals. Yes, salt, you are very mineral-like. So I'm gonna move these puppies over. And the way that we're gonna do this is what is in need of nourishing us right now in this moment. And what do I mean by that? I'm looking at fresh produce that is starting to give life, a new life. And I want to also, the sun is in my eyes a little bit, but I want to say hi to all of these folks hopping on here. Thank you for showing up. I'm super, super happy. If anybody wants to join in the conversation, ask me questions, please feel free to do so. Just send in a little, hey, I want to be on video with you. And we can talk about food. So this guy though, we have this beautiful potato. It's starting to bud. It's got some beautiful little green on it. And that's when I know, oh, you gotta be nourishing somebody. So we're gonna use these potatoes. In my kitchen, I also found an onion. Onions are always a staple in my kitchen. Whether it's Spanish onions, green onions, leeks. I love me a leek. And I happen to find some yellow calabaza here. So just, my grandma loves these. Like that's definitely something that reminds me of her. And so what I do is I'm just gonna peel these little puppies off. You know, in thinking about the Frida exhibit, there were so many things that felt so familiar. And, you know, there was one image that it was a drawing or painting, and it had like a mosquito and pubic hairs and a volcano and like a fish with holes in it that was just like spilling things out, like water. It was water just flowing through this holy fish, and just so many flowers. I love flowers, and those were things I'm like, man, you know, I am allergic to mosquitoes. That's one of the reasons I really like Pittsburgh, except if you live next to a forest like I do, which you get mosquitoes. So, you know, but I take them for granted, those little vampires, and like how nostalgic that made me feel. Be like, oh, the mosquitoes. It's so silly, but it's so true. The one thing that I also appreciated I appreciate a lot of things about the exhibit, but how really getting the context for like how Frida was raised, you know, like knowing that her father was a photographer and like he was always taking photos of her, so she was doing, you know, she was primed for that modeling gig that she got herself, like gave herself, and there's just like some really beautiful moments where I'm like, dang, homegirl, like knew what a selfie was before the selfie, you know, like she was posing like constantly photogenic. Every angle was like the right angle. Maybe she was just surrounded by beautiful people. Maybe we just need to go back to the black and whites. I don't know. But that was something really just like refreshing for me. It's like, man, there's some people out there that just, they know you always capture them. And that's the essence, that how they're remembered forever, you know? I'm gonna be bopping from like random Frida inspirations to my cooking. So, you know, if you, mosquitoes are not cool. Right? There's little vampires, but we gotta appreciate all life, you know? So I'm gonna start putting my onions in. Right now, what am I thinking? I've got papas, I've got onions, I've got green onions, I've got a yellow squash, and you know what? I've got this beautiful nopal behind me. So that was something else that I found myself, sorry about that. I found myself looking behind Frida a lot in the exhibit. And really trying to get a sense of her environment. And that was one of the things I noticed, mostly when they were in Mexico City, was the cactus. The giant cacti that are the vertical ones with like the little ridges, you know, they're very simple in form, but how they created fences and like perimeters on properties. And so that was really fun. And then I was like, man, you know, the rancho that my family grew up on in Mexico, so my family is from Tampico, which is on the Gulf Coast of Mexico. It's about a 6-hour drive from the border. And it's very, you know, it's tropical and a little deserty. So there's lots of cacti, but you also have the giant mango trees and the avocado trees and the lemon and lime trees, and also these nopales. So, and these, like, they grow really big and like bloop, 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 bloop. So this nopal came from my grandma's ranch in Texas right now, and its mother was smuggled across the border from the ranch that my grandfather grew up on. So this nopal is really like super sentimental to me. It holds so much lineage and offers me just all of the things. So we're going to use, I think we're going to use these two. They look pretty good. We're going to use these two and cook with them, because that's what we do. Black beans and nopales, but I don't have any black beans on hand, so we're just going to do nopales and papas and what else? Oh, I have some frozen fake meat, so maybe we'll do that. We'll do that. I guess I should cut this over here. So that was really lovely. I'm trying to show y'all at the same time while cutting this, and it's, let's just, okay, we're just gonna do that. That's what you get for trying to use tools when you know you should just be using your hands. Also, if I wanted to, I could just put this nopal leaf in the ground and it would root and grow. So that's actually how I got these. And I also learned after multiple times of taking a blade and cutting them off that you don't want to do that, because you need it to be broken off. You need these little fibers of the cactus so that it can root. If you do a clean cut, for some reason it doesn't like do what it needs to do to regrow. So that's a fun tip. So these nopales, I don't see a lot of spinas on them, and what I mean by spinas are the little pricklies. Oh, I see some. Okay. So you want to take off all of the spinas when you're cooking with anything that has spinas. That makes sense. You don't want to, it's like tiny fish bones. You don't want that in your mouth. So we're gonna just gently scrape the top layer off. So in the background, if you can hear it, I always have to have music when I'm cooking, especially if I'm doing something like this where nobody is hopping on to talk with me. Welcome. You're welcome to join the conversation and ask me questions. Though I didn't bring my glasses, so just hop on the video. It's okay. Super casual. But the music is really helping right now. And right now, what is this? This is like classic 1940 Mexican jams. You know, this is what they would be playing at the event. I don't know, social gatherings, I suppose. Yeah. Alright, so let me get this started over here. Turn on my stove. So today is also a really fun day in that my cousin Beto is moving to Pittsburgh. Ooh, yes, what am I cooking? So it's an improvisational cooking. Bloop, bloop, bloop. So I pulled out of my pantry and fridge 3 potatoes, a yellow squash, some green onions, a Spanish onion, and this guy, this is cactus, that we're going to take the spinas off and cook. And so the cactus has a very similar texture to okra, if anybody's familiar with okra. It's, you know, it has that gooey center, so something. It also helps if your knives are freshly sharpened. This one is not. Go a different tactic. Okay. Has anybody ever eaten cactus? Ain't nobody commenting, that's okay. What about okra? Any okra fans? I love me some okra. I didn't like it as a kid though. I remember years ago when I was doing this garden program. Yes, Lily's in the house. That's one of my cousins, y'all. Cactus fruit. Okay. I will definitely make some cactus for everybody. I think some might say it's an acquired taste. It's really, honestly, it's a texture thing. So if you don't like okra, then I don't know, you might not like these nopales, but all right, so we have our pan. It's getting hot. Maybe put some oil in it. I always cook with olive oil. I don't use any other like high heat oils or anything like that. It's called bindi in Hindi. What? Tuna in Chile. That's awesome. My nana, who was from Sicily, used to call fish bones spina. Yeah, I think it's just like that shape. It's like, never knew cactus is edible. Very much is. Also, if you find yourself in the desert, that's a really great way to hydrate yourself. So, thinking other things that I was reminded of when I saw the exhibit. That rhymes. Yes, it does. It was fun to say. Thank you, Sarika. Hi, everybody who's joining. Welcome to the first cooking demonstration in the series with the hashtag Not White Collective. I am Zena Ruiz, your host for the afternoon. And in just kind of what I said earlier, in keeping in the true spirit of how my grandma cooks, there are no recipes. So we are cooking with what we have. And so in my fridge, I found some potatoes, some squash, yellow squash, onions, and we're gonna make these nopales, which is cactus, which is what we've been talking about for the last few minutes. So that's where we're at. And our pot is getting hot. And we're gonna slice up the nopal. All right, so let's see if, yeah. So this is, you can see it's shiny in there. It's very gooey. Let's see if we can get some shiny light. It's very gooey. And that's that's just how it is. It's really nice though. It's very tasty. Typically my grandma cooks it with ground beef, and she'll put tomatoes sometimes. But yeah, she always cooks it with ground beef. Thank you for the reminder, Sarika. I'll save the video. So anyway, is anybody interested in sharing a unique food that maybe a lot of people don't eat? You can just type it in the chat. I'll read it out loud. The onions are going on. Welcome, welcome. Pop, pop, pop. So we got our onions on the pan. Gonna cook this. All right. And I did a little bit of, I'm not gonna cook a whole lot, but just gonna do a little bit of cactus. Because honestly, everybody in my house already ate. They're lamos. Or they're not here, so there's that. So I'm gonna go ahead and prep this yellow calabaza. And you wish you could smell it. Yes, one day these immersive, being able to smell and taste through this realm, that's gonna be real one day. Chirimoya. Thank you for sharing that, Carolina. What's chirimoya? I want to know more about that. We have, smelling. Kadi, besides Indian folks, others aren't familiar with this North Indian dish. I want to know more about Kadi. Lily says, save us some. We'll be there in 2 hours. So my cousins are driving in from Michigan. And as I said earlier, one of them is moving here, which I am very excited. It will be my first blood relative that lives in the same city as me. It hasn't happened in 13 years or something. So, alright. Oh, we should start our papas. So the potatoes are always they take a while to cook, right? So, and I like them a little crunchy, so I do something, chirimoya, my favorite fruit, grows in subtropical climates. I'm gonna have to Google that. I want a visual. and I want to learn more. There's some really beautiful fruits out there. There's so many that I never knew about. The first time that I ever worked with jackfruit, that was interesting. And honestly, I think it tastes like mango, like, and it's kind of like shaped like when you open the jackfruit, you have these pods. And they're super orange, like the inside of a mango, and they're fleshy. And actually, my grandpa, I went over to Houston one time, and my grandpa was like, have you ever heard of this fruit? We're gonna eat it. And so he's cutting it up, which, you know, my grandfather, he is the best at cutting sandia, like watermelon, coconuts, jackfruit, apparently. And so he went to town on this fruit. And everybody, it was like a spectacle. It was like, what is all of this? Like white, like little petals. It really looks like a giant flower on the inside, with all these thin petals. And he was like, yeah, we're gonna try this. We're gonna try this fruit. And we all tried it, and yeah, people were like, man, it tastes like mango. It's just like, all right. Some people really liked it, and others did not. So that was a fun adventure. Welcome, more friends on the interwebs. For those who have stayed on thus far, I'm gonna keep repeating myself so that people know what the heck I'm doing. So I am keeping true in how my grandmother cooks without recipes, and just, it's all by smell, it's all by taste, and very like, what do you have on hand? It's very resourceful. I don't know. It's like, what's going bad in the fridge? Let's pull it all together and make something wonderful. So I don't like to use the terms going bad, because, you know, there's other life that's growing in there, and decomposition is just part of that cycle. So I like to say that the fresh produce is like telling me that it wants to provide nutrients to somebody or something. So whether that does end up out in the compost, awesome. If that ends up in our bodies, awesome. Like, it's all going somewhere. So Chiku isn't available here. I don't know the English name for it. That's the first fruit I like to eat if it's in season. Ooh, Sarika, when is that fruit in season? Just like Frida, making beauty of what's around. Yes, Lisa, thank you. Making that Frida connection. I should also show, I do have this really, it's very humble magnet of Frida on my fridge. So like, when I say that she is an inspiration for me, I'm not just like, oh yeah, it's Frida because I'm Mexican and she's Mexican, it's cool. No, but like finding, there's a sense of presence that I feel I get from her work. And okay, I'm missing a lot in the chat. Like an Italian frittata, gets all kinds of stuff from my fridge thrown into it. Yes, I get it in India. Oh yeah, so this is the fruit chiku. Sarika says you get it in India sometimes in March. And then Cristiana, Thinking on food and culture, interesting how American cuisine doesn't seem to use fruit in the main dish, typically dessert only. Yes, that is very curious. Well, and I do want to explore this idea of what a fruit is and like the concept between a fruit and a vegetable. Is it real? Like, come on. We define fruits as those like produce with seeds, but tomatoes have fruit, like they have seeds, and like corn is a seed, you know. So like these are terms that we use to help us categorize the different things. But like, why do we keep putting things in boxes? Can't we just say what it is? Can't we just be like, oh yes, that is like the need to classify and constrain in our food, like boop, boop, boop. I don't like fruit, so I'm not gonna like that. It's like, you know, you just haven't tried it. How can you just say blanket things like that? And I will also note that I feel like it extends to how we as humans classify ourselves. And there's just something very liberating when you can just meet somebody where they are and be, like really be with them and like stare into their eyes, into their soul and hold them and vice versa. Like they're doing that for you. Like I was at the gas station yesterday and this guy comes up to me. His name's Brandon. He's like, "Hi, miss. My name's Brandon. I'm homeless and just wanted to know if you had a few bucks that, you know, you can offer me." And I was like, "Yo, Brandon, how are you doing? I don't have, like," I think even before he went into what he needed, what he was asking, he was like giving me this story, like, right? It's like, "I've been out here all week. I don't have anything. Like, I'm trying to do this." And I was like, "Brandon, what do you need right now? And how can I help you?" And so that was a big part of like our dialogue there. He was like, "You know what? Nobody's seen me today." And he was like, "You're the first person that saw me and asked me that and like is engaging with me." And like that's the sort of presencing. That's that sort of like slowing down. I know I was at the gas station, I just wanted to pick up a bottle of water and be on my way. But like to take the time. And so here, I'm gonna draw, I don't know if this is a loose connection or maybe just a connection in my brain right now because I'm thinking about Frida. But she has all this time to just be with herself. And so her subject, right, is herself, and she's constantly working through that. But what is that, and how do we do that for ourselves and do that for others? I'm missing a lot of these text threads, you know, talking and cooking and reading without my glasses. Probably not the best technique, but on the plus side, I will note, the first time I did an Instagram Live, I actually had a buddy, and we were cooking. It was for the Not Wait's first cooking series, and my phone, like, I forgot to charge my phone. So here we are. I put it on a charger. Look at me learning stuff. Lily says, "I went on mission to work with the poor last year, and just listening to their stories was my favorite part." Yeah, I mean, there's a lot around the listening and the holding, you know. It's in what are you, and how do we elevate or support or like just How do we do this? Yeah. I will also note, I feel like I'm in some conversations sometimes. It's like, well, we want people's stories, but at who's, like, what's the purpose of collecting these stories? And, like, really, who is benefiting from that? All right, so I decided not to use my green onions, just like, yeah, I'm not feeling it. So I'm not cutting my green onions. I'm throwing in my squash, my yellow squash. And I've got my potatoes, and everything's just sauteing right now. It's chilling. I'm gonna throw in my little nopales in there. Plop, plop. And here's a little, this is what they look like. Wow. And yeah, so that's, I was I was thinking about like bringing a photograph, right? And I'm like, wait, I don't have any real photographs. Like, everything is digital. Like, I'm gonna put up my screen and be like, yeah, this is a picture of my grandma and my grandfather and talk about them. But what I did notice about the photographs, and also how my house kind of manifests, is you don't see it very well from like where this camera is positioned, but there's so many plants. And that's really, and we have the nopal right here. Yeah, nopal. And just like, there are plants everywhere in my kitchen. And then along the windowsill there, and just there are colors in my house, like this really beautiful teal. Once I get the food situated a little bit, I'll get y'all off this holder and we can take a walk. But right now, I've got all of my veggies in there. We're sauteing. I'm gonna start seasoning. Can we see it? Yeah, hold up. And can we see the pan too? Everybody wants to see the food. This is the pan. All of my cactus are shriveling. It's very yellow. So the onions are like starting to caramelize, and it's like really sweet. I'm gonna start salting. I am not a big salt person. I like to just do a little bit at the beginning, like 2 pinches, and really at the end is when I do most of the adjustments. If you decide to use a seasoned blend, make sure you read to see if it has salt or not, because you do not want to have too much salt. So because I added salt, I'm not going to use the Cajun seasoning on this one. I am going to do classic, just fresh pepper. I love pepper, and I think I'm gonna do. I think I need a little bit of garlic powder in this, and I'm just smelling everything. I can smell the pepper starting to, it's like browning, and the sweetness of the onions. We have a guest in the kitchen.
I'm not gonna be on camera.
The cactus is starting to get gooey, and yeah, so let's see. I did cut the cactus. All right. So here we have our food, and you see, I don't know if you can see the little gooey threads. but yeah, there they are right here. So that's from the cactus. Oh, so can you grab me the frozen crumble? Yeah, perfect. So we're going to add, this is what we have, meatless grounds. Thank you. And we're just gonna put some of that in there. Thank you for your help. I love you. That was my 13-year-old working on homework, so you know, that's fun. And at this point is when basically I put the lid on. Let's see. I think it's gonna need something. You know what it needs? Chili powder, which I didn't show y'all, but I do have a thing of chili powder always on hand. Big shout out to Nina Barbudo, who brings a container of chili powder, I think, everywhere they go. So adding that in here, and yeah, so I'm gonna put the lid on this. We'll take a little walk around. My kitchen is kind of an extension of my dining room, as you can see in the background. But I do want to show you the colors. You can tell the color of my ceiling. So our house, the colors in my house are inspired by the colors of the homes in Mexico. So my family's homes on the ranch, they were just cinder block, like very standard cube shapes. Nothing very architecturally exciting. But the colors on the outsides were always like on point and so vibrant. So a lot of like these beautiful like greens, and here is a door that is the color of my tia Chelo's house, or at least in one point in time. And then I'll take you to the stairs, where up here we have this vibrant like vermilion orange. You can tell here, like, orange is my family's color. You're welcome. How high is the heat? Yeah, the heat is, it's like a medium low. On a scale from like 1 to 10, it's at a 5. So I guess it's halfway. Medium. Why did I say medium low? Let's get a lid. How high is the heat? How high is the heat? All right. And anybody else, I'm reading through these chats. Did I miss anything? Anybody have any thoughts they want to share? Questions? Does anybody want to say hi on video? I love y'all too. Y'all are so sweet. So yeah, my kitchen is it's pretty small. It's like a typical Pittsburgh style smallness. We do have this corrugated wall, these corrugated walls. It's also still in progress. It's forever, our house is forever in progress. But what I love about the corrugated walls are the way that we can hang our stuff. What else? I can show you, I'm gonna flip the camera around again, this cutting board that we're using. And so this is a shout out. Actually, here's a photo of Vinny and my husband Fitzhugh. That's my husband. and that's Vinny. And they were creating our dining room table that has a bunch of stuff on it. But this cutting board was my practice cutting board in doing these butterfly joints. And this is one of my favorite pieces. Oh, I think I see a little rainbow. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, that's... Hi, Tia Janie. Do I get leftovers? All right, Fran. We'll see. I might have to make a bigger batch. All right, so everything is looking good. Let's get a flip of the camera here. So it is a very wonderful, from here you can do whatever with it. You can eat it by itself as a side. You can put it in tacos. You can mix it, have a side salad. Yeah. Oh my gosh, and it smells amazing. I'm starting to get a smokiness from the chili powder. It's just, this is all I'm doing on the back end. Yes. What's the exhibit at the Frick that this is related to? Great question. So, the Frick Museum in Pittsburgh currently has an exhibit of photographs. It's a photographic exhibit of Frida Kahlo, and the exhibit's called Frida Kahlo, an intimate portrait. And they also have color. So the main, I think that part of the exhibit, they're all black and white. And they're just some of them are so tiny, and so you they really are intimate. And not just, it's not even the content, right? But it's your relationship with the photograph, because there's some of them are so small, and you have to really get in there and be like, wow, and you start having this intimacy with the piece. And then the last room in the walking path is their photographs, and they're all color. They're gorgeous, and unfortunately that's the room that you can't photograph, but respectfully so. Those photographs are by Nicholas Murray, who is a wonderful photographer and Frida lover. So that's what this is inspired by. And yeah, I just want to thank everybody for coming to chat with me and to experience and hear and hold space for me. You could have been doing anything on your Saturday, and you chose to share it with me, so thank you. And I hope everybody puts on their, there's so many more artists coming down the pipeline to do and share space with you and share stories in their kitchens. So keep a lookout. If you want to go to the Frick Museum's website, they have a calendar listing of all of the events. Otherwise, just stay tuned on their Instagram at FrickPGH. And yeah, buen provecho. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I love y'all so much. Oh, thank you, Vero. Wonderful experience in storytelling. I appreciate y'all. And maybe I should plate. I have a few more minutes. I'll plate it. And I'm going to heat up some corn tortillas on this end, because I can't be having this all. I feel like it's naked. It's a little naked. Oh, I love you too. Thank you for showing up. Mwah. All right, we're gonna. Oh, you know what else I have in my fridge already cut up? Some onions. I'm just gonna do that, And I think that'll be my finishing touch. What do y'all think? Thank you, Cristiana. Thank you, Lisa. The exhibit is up. Hold on. Doing too many things at once. Onions first. Pow, pow, pow. All right, quick flip. There's my little ching, ching. You're welcome. Thank you, Lisa. It's up through May 30th. Oh, well, thank y'all, everybody. Mwah. Y'all have a wonderful Saturday. And until next time, love from the #NotWhiteCollective. Yours truly, Zena Ruiz, signing off. Mwah, mwah, mwah.